Hey guys, my name's Anthony. Thanks for joining me today. In case you haven't watched any of my videos before, I love to review luxury products and accessories. But today, instead of focusing on bags like I've done in my past few videos, I decided to shift gears a little bit and focus on a couple of my favorite fragrances. Instead of focusing on just one fragrance for you today, I decided to focus on two different fragrances with two very different price points. The first one is an eau de parfum from one of my favorite brands called Fresh. A little bit more on the affordable side, $20 for this roller. This scent is Rose Morning. I love the scent of roses, and as you can see, I've used it quite a bit. It's about half gone, but I absolutely love this. I carry it in my bags, and I use it as an emergency fragrance for when I need to kind of freshen up or before a meeting. The other fragrance that I'm going to be going over with you today is my favorite fragrance from Byredo called Pulp. This is about $280 for the 3.4 fluid ounce bottle. It's a little bit on the pricier side, and I totally understand that a lot of people are not willing to or understand why you would spend so much on a fragrance, but I'm going to go over the differences between the two. First up in my review, I'm going to go over the eau de parfum from Fresh. As I said, this is Rose Morning. So what I love about this is that it's really compact. It's really easy to just take the lid off and apply to your wrist, and also maybe apply to your neck a little bit in the activation areas that activate the scent and help your skin absorb the fragrance and really make it yours. Some fragrances are a lot more agreeable with different people, and that's why there's so many different scents on the fragrance spectrum. But what I love about the scent Rose Morning is that it's very light, and it really does smell like you're walking through a rose garden. It has a little bit of essential oil in it, more than an eau de toilette would, and that's why I really gravitate toward eau de parfums, because they have a lot more notes of the fragrance that you might get from an eau de toilette that you would spend $80 or $90 for. The other reason that I really love the Rose Morning is I gravitate toward natural scents like flowers and citrus. So this is by far one of my absolute favorite rose scents on the market, because it does smell like a true rose, and you're not paying hundreds of dollars for this roll-on that you might pay with another brand. Roses are very desirable, and with that there's a lot of markup. So any chance that I can avoid a markup or paying high MSRP or retail for a fragrance that I know I can get as an alternative somewhere else, I will go with the alternative, because it is going to be a lot more affordable, and in case I break this, which I've done with others, it's easy to replace, and I don't have to worry about spending, a large amount of money to replace it. It's been about 5 minutes since I applied the Rose Morning by Fresh. I know 5 minutes isn't really a long time to allow for a cologne or a perfume to necessarily settle to see if it'll wear away, but what I can tell you is that it's still as strong and as fragrant as when I first applied it, and I absolutely love these rollers for that very reason. They usually wear off at about 2 or the 3 hour mark, but that's actually a lot of wear for a $20 cologne or a perfume, because a lot of scents wear off at the 2 or 3 hour mark, even when you're paying $80 or $90 for those premium brands like Acqua di Gio, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, or Yves Saint Laurent L'Homme. I really gravitate toward the rollers for is you can just easily reapply it when you start to feel like your scent is kind of fading away. So, mid-morning or early afternoon when you need a little pick-me-up, say you just got back from the gym and you just showered there, or say, you realize, you've been sweating a little bit and you're not, at your peak, you can definitely turn to one of these and turn that around with just a quick little roll in the same area, the activation areas that I mentioned, the wrist and the neck, and you're good to go and good as new. Okay guys, it's been about 15 minutes since I applied the Rose Morning, and it's still as fragrant on me now as it was about 15 minutes ago when I applied it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just remove the fragrance that I have on my wrist with a warm cloth, and I'm also going to remove it from the activation area that I applied it to on my neck. The reason I'm doing this is just to get any additional fragrance or notes that might still be there, so that I can go ahead and I could apply the Byredo Pulp that I'm going to be reviewing in just a moment. So you saw this at the beginning of the video. This is the Byredo Pulp. It's the 3.4 fluid ounce bottle, and it's about $280 new, maybe $260. I might be misquoting, but it's between $260 and $280. There's another scent that I love by Byredo called Gypsy Water that I actually bought for my boyfriend. I got it for him in the smaller bottle because that's all I could get at the time. However, when I went back to find Byredo in the larger, they did not have the Gypsy Water, so I got Pulp for myself. The reason I love Pulp is it's almost like you're walking through a orange field or a field of orange trees. It also has undertones of grapefruit, maybe not to other people, but definitely to me. I've always gravitated towards citrus because it agrees with my skin the most, so that's why I got this one. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna spray it really quick. So this bottle comes out a lot heavier than the roller for the Rose Morning. So I only do one application in the activation area around my neck because that's what I smell the most throughout the day. I hardly ever hold my wrist up to my nose. So I really like to apply my cologne to my clothes. I only do one spritz because of how fragrant and strong this scent is. And because it's so expensive, I also don't want to waste it. So I'm a lot more mindful. What I really love about Pulp is it does last a really long time, or really just all Byredo fragrances. Because one spritz is enough for a few hours, I don't have to use as much of it as I might with like the roller. With the roller, I'll use maybe 2 applications, maybe 3 throughout the day, every 2 or 3 hours. But with Byredo, I can probably get about 4 or 5 hours of wear out of it. And since I only use it for special occasions, like when I'm going out to dinner or formal events, or, you know, for instance, a corporate holiday party, I only do 1, maybe 2 spritzes, so I know that it's gonna last me the 4 or 5 hours that I need it to. And by the time I'm home, I don't have to worry about reapplying because I've already attended the event that I needed to, and I don't have to use the fragrance any longer, so I get more wear and more use out of it for a longer period of time. I'm back, guys. It's been about 30 minutes since I applied the Byredo Pulp, and I waited about 15 minutes longer to kind of review what the scent of Byredo Pulp smelled like compared to the 15 minutes that I allowed Rose Morning of Fresh to smell like. And the reason I did that is for a more expensive bottle, I want to allow more time to pass just so I can see if I'm really gonna be able to get, you know, more wear and kind of tell you guys whether or not you would be able to get, you know, more wear out of it. 30 minutes later, it's still fragrant, it's still really strong, it's not overbearing. I know that there are a lot of scents out there that are overwhelming and overpowering, and Byredo doesn't really do that. They have a really great balance between scent and essential oil, and everything that they're doing with their formula is actually really great because it's not too pungent and it's not really offensive. If anything, whenever I put this on Byredo Pulp, I get a lot of compliments about what I'm wearing and that it smells really natural, which is why I love it. And about 30 minutes in, it still smells the same way. I do know from experience that it will last about 4 to 5 hours, but it will require a reapplication. However, if you do decide to wear this as a daily fragrance, I would suggest maybe getting a roller. I do know that Byredo has rollers so that you can reapply every 4 or 5 hours, versus Fresh, which also has rollers, but you're only paying $20 for a roller versus maybe $80 a roller with Byredo if you do decide to invest in them. Again, I'm only ballparking the prices. I don't know off the top how much a roller or a set of rollers would be, but when you're investing in a fragrance like this, like Byredo, you know, spending $260 to $280 for a bottle, you want to make sure that it's going to last you. And I can definitely guarantee that it will last. However much wear and use you get out of your bottle is completely up to you, and it's subjective. I've had this bottle for about 5 months now, and as you can tell, it's not really gone. You know, you can't really tell with the label from the front, but this is essentially still a full bottle, and I've probably worn it about a dozen times, including today. You know, I only do 1 spritz when necessary and when needed. I don't go to a lot of formal events, and I don't go to a lot of occasions or events that require a fragrance this nice. So my fallback is the rollers from Fresh. However, I would suggest maybe considering getting the rollers. So if you do use this as an everyday fragrance, you can apply as you go and not have to worry about such an expensive fragrance fading, which will happen. It's just a matter of how long it will be before it does. And as I've mentioned, it's about 4 to 5 hours for me. By now you're probably thinking, hey Anthony, cut to the chase. I want to know if the $20 fragrance is just as effective as a $280 one, for which my answer is yes. If you want to invest just $20 or $30 in a little roller from Fresh or any similar brand, I would definitely suggest it, because you will get just as much wear and it will be just as effective as, say, a $280 fragrance. The real thing that you're paying for is your happiness and whether or not you're satisfied with the product. Am I just as satisfied with this roller as I am with this bottle of cologne? Yes. Absolutely. Would I buy both again? I probably would not buy Byredo as frequently as I would buy Fresh, and that's just because of cost and how much I'm using one over the other. This will probably last me through the end of the year. I know that a lot of people aren't able to say that their daily colognes and daily fragrances last them an entire year, but that's why I have other fragrances that I kind of cycle through to ensure that I'm getting the most wear out of the other expensive pieces that I'm investing in. Similar to sneakers, you know, I buy an everyday pair versus a special occasion pair, and that's just so I can make sure that I'm getting the most wear and the most lifetime out of the things that I'm investing in. With this specific Fresh fragrance, I would buy it again, and I'm probably going to have to because this is about half gone. But what I would say is if you're near a Fresh store or you have one in your area or you're ready to just kind of buy something online because you're getting a little restless with the quarantine, I would suggest trying this out and really getting a tester for yourself and seeing if you really like it. There are a lot of floral and natural fragrances like grapefruits and white gardenias and roses, which is another reason that I really love this brand. If you are looking for a little bit more of an investment fragrance, something that you're going to try and make last you for a very long time or something that you want to try out, I would definitely suggest Byredo because it is high quality. As I mentioned, this is the 100 milliliter bottle. If you think about it, most standard fragrances are about 1.5 to 1.8 fluid ounces, and this is about double that. Do I prefer one fragrance over the other? I would be lying if I said that I had a preference. However, I do prefer the price of Fresh over the price of Byredo, and I think that's a given because I'd rather spend $20 over $260 any day. The other thing is Fresh actually does a really great job of maintaining the same quality standard and fragrance as some of the higher end brands that are out there. While the higher end brand does last longer, from my own personal experience and just kind of the scent tests that I've done within the 15 and 30 minute periods, I would suggest going with something like this. It's easier for on the go wear anyway. It's a lot easier than carrying, you know, this is probably about a 1 or 2 pound bottle. You wouldn't want to carry this in your bag because 1, it's fragile, and 2, it's heavy. Nobody wants to carry this around with them all the time. If I had to leave you guys with one piece of advice regarding the fragrances, it would be try Fresh first and then decide if you want to upgrade. See if you get the wear that you would like out of Fresh that you might be looking for out of a more expensive fragrance, because it is a really awesome alternative. If you're into citrusy, floral scents, Fresh is the way to go, but Byredo also has those sorts of notes in their fragrances. You would just be paying a lot more of a premium. So I say go with Fresh, start out there, spend $20 to $30 on one roller, and then make your decision on whether or not it's enough for you. If it is, then you have a brand that you can stick with, and if it's not, then you know the next brand on your list. Well guys, that's it for me today. Again, my name is Anthony. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked my video today and you want to see others like this, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And if you want to see more in-depth product reviews on things from grooming to fashion and lifestyle, check out my website, Menswear Mag, www.menswearmag.com. I'm also including a link to my website in the description of my video, and I'm going to include a shout out to my website in the video here below. Thanks guys, I'll see you again soon.